What is going on, Proper Squad? Fatal Steven here, and in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the Chucky episode that had Liv Morgan in it as a cameo.
That's fatal!
Now, for those who don't know, Liv Morgan cameoed in the most recent Chucky episode, as she is a huge Chucky fan, as am I. Now, going into this episode, I've already been watching Chucky. I watched season 1, I've been keeping up with season 2, so I already knew that she was going to be in an episode. I just didn't know which episode it was going to be. Actually, I had my viewers on Twitch tell me that it was going to be episode 6, but turns out it was actually this most recent episode. Now, in this video, I'll be reviewing the episode as well as showing you guys 2 Chucky-inspired outfits for Liv Morgan. Unfortunately, we don't have the official attire that she wore during the cameo, but we have one that is very close, and then one that was wrestling gear that was actually inspired by Chucky that she actually wore. So our first attire is by SmackDown Cultist Ultra, and it's called Alt Attire, and the hashtags are just Liv Morgan and Bray Wyatt, and the description says Sister Abigail. Now, this was more a Sister Abigail inspired attire, but you can also see that it looks like the attire she wore during the cameo of Chucky when it comes to the arms and the legs. So you can download this attire and then make it an alt to Liv Morgan, and you'll have a Chucky looking attire. Or you can just download this one and then tweak the attire so that it looks more like her attire during the cameo on Chucky. And the second Liv Morgan attire is by Attires by me. Hashtags are Liv Morgan, Carmella, and 2K by me. And it's called Chucky gear. Now, this right here is a wrestling gear that was inspired by Chucky, and you can just tell by looking at it. 2K Attires by me did a phenomenal job on this attire, and I think I'm actually going to keep it on my Liv Morgan. I love the way it looks. And knowing that she's a huge Chucky fan, it just makes it even better to keep it on as her attire. Now, on to the actual episode of Chucky. Overall, the episode I found was not really my cup of tea. This episode was more Nika and Tiffany Valentine driven, and I'm obviously a fan of the episodes that are more Chucky driven and revolves around the kids and their storyline. But it's not that I hated the episode. I obviously like Jennifer Tilly and Tiffany Valentine's story, but this whole episode was just centered around that. And I get it, they have to, develop her story too, and have an episode dedicated to her. I understand that. It wasn't like it was a bad episode. It just wasn't really my cup of tea. Now, this whole episode played out like a murder mystery or like a game of Clue, where someone died in Tiffany's house, and then while her guests were there, as well as her kids, Glenn and Glenda, and we'll get to them in a second. So someone dies in Tiffany's house, and during her party with all her guests there, she tries to play it up as if it's a murder mystery and as if it's a game. So the person who dies is actually her butler, and she did not want him to die. So just to calm the situation down and calm everyone down, she plays it up as if it's a murder mystery game and the guy is acting, right? That's how she plays it up. So now it becomes a whodunit. Who killed the butler, right? And that's the main thing that happens throughout the episode. You try to figure out who killed the butler. And on the side, you have Glenn and Glenda, who are trying to help Nika and help Nika escape, because obviously Tiffany has been keeping Nika hostage pretty much and has removed her limbs. We got to see Nika finally get some prosthetics, which is great, so she's able to move her wheelchair around. She unfortunately does not have prosthetic legs, but she does have these prosthetic arms, and it helps her move her wheelchair quite fast, actually. So the episode ends with Nika escaping with Glenda. Speaking of Glenn and Glenda, obviously, they were introduced the last episode, but just right at the end. This episode, you can actually see how they look like. They're a lot older now, they're teens. The actors that portrayed them did a great job. And throughout the episode, you're wondering if Glenn and Glenda changed as they grew up, because last we knew about them when it came to the movies were that they weren't a fan of killing, like their parents were, obviously Chucky and Tiffany. But turns out, throughout the episode, you find out that Glenn was the one who poisoned the butler with arsenic and was the one who killed the butler. So it looks like when it comes to the moral compass, they are okay with killing if they have to. Well, Glenn is at least. Glenda, not so much. And whenever we got to see Chucky in the actual episode, I played it off as if it was like a sitcom or a talk show. It had Chucky sitting on a couch and he was like talking to the audience as if he was a host of a show. That was the only times we got to see Chucky. It showed him in the beginning of the episode acting like a talk host, talking about, oh, this episode is a great one. You're in store for a good episode, right? And then the episode ends with the talk show segment where he's like, wow, who do you think killed the butler, right? Like right after we see, like near the ending where we see the butler dead and, they're about to wrap up who killed the butler, it shows Chucky on his like talk show addressing the audience and being like, who do you think killed the butler? And then this is where the Liv Morgan cameo comes in. He calls out WWE superstar Liv Morgan, who's also Chucky's biggest fan. So Liv Morgan comes out, sits on the couch with him, and then Chucky's asking Liv Morgan questions like, who do you think killed the butler? And Liv Morgan gives him an answer. Then he goes, why do you think they killed the butler? Then Liv Morgan answers. And as Chucky's asking Liv Morgan these questions, Liv Morgan is answering. Chucky also brings up the fact that the USA Network, or Sci-Fi, allows 10 fucks per episode. And they haven't used a single one. throughout the whole episode. So with Liv Morgan hearing that, she gets a little surprised. Oh wow, you can swear that much? They let you swear that much? And Chucky's like, yeah, they do. So then Chucky moves on and shows the audience a clip of Liv Morgan talking about how she's a huge fan of Chucky and how if she's ever on the show, she would love to be brutally murdered by Chucky. That's all she wants. She doesn't want to be a lead. She doesn't want to be a side character. She just wants to be a cameo that gets brutally murdered. And then it cuts back to them on the couch and Liv Morgan's like, Chucky, you know I was just joking. And then Chucky pulls out a knife out of his front pocket and just starts brutally stabbing Liv Morgan as he's saying every single fuck, as he's saying the 10 fucks that the network allows. It's hilarious. He's just like, fuck. It is so funny. I will show you guys the clip right now. And if you guys watch Chucky and are keeping up with the show, what do you think of season 2 so far? And if you only watched just to see the Liv Morgan episode, let me know what you think about it. Thank you for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoy. Go ahead and download those 2 Liv Morgan attires. And if someone makes an updated Liv Morgan Chucky attire that matches the one that she actually wore on the episode, I will definitely cover it. But in the meantime, thank you for watching the video. Go ahead and download those 2 attires or whichever one you enjoy. And I'll catch you in the next video. If they don't even out, stay proper. Peace.